Hi, and welcome to another episode of Amateurs 3D. I'm glad you're with us today. My name's Fergie, and I am your host. Today we're talking about claw machines. They're everywhere. Every bowling alley, every arcade, every county fair, every movie theater, even as you're walking out of Walmart, there's a claw machine. And they're drawing you in with their happy music and bright lights. And you put in your money and you position the claw just right over that little thing that you want to get, and the claws slowly make their way down right over top of it. It's a perfect placement, and then what happens? The claws slip off. And you try again and again in your frustration, beating on the glass front. But no, there's no little trinket for you. The claw machine lied to you. It's so hard to get it. I think I've only found one claw machine in 1986 that actually worked the way it was supposed to. Ever since then, claw machines have been taunting me to put my money in when I know they're probably not going to pay off. So today's the revenge. Today's when you get to get even with the claw machines by making your own claw that works. That's right, on today's episode, we'll be making the Mantis Claw. So let's get to it. Here's parts you'll need. I found these on Thingiverse. It looks like a lot of parts, but it's really not. You're going to have 5 claw tips go down, so you can see everything's grouped in 5s. 5 upper arms, 5 lower arms. You have 5 sets of these. Now, I know there's only 4, but I've set one up, mocked one up, so you can see what it looks like. So let's take a look at what it looks like when it's all together, and then we'll go ahead to put it together itself. So this is one arm, and as you can see it moves up and down to make the claw part. Pretty easy, just a little bit of hardware, and you should be able to put it together really easily. See, this all started because I was browsing through the interweb, looking through YouTube, and I came across a channel called Tested. Tested's run by Adam Savage of Mythbusters fame, and I've seen several of his videos. This one was called Testing a Drone Claw with Simone and Norm. Now Simone is pretty famous in her own right. She's a Swedish girl that learned to design her own robots, and so she does have her own channel with robots that may not work exactly right, but man, it's a lot of fun watching them fail. So they were showcasing the Mantis Claw. Now the Mantis Claw was designed to be used with drones. It was a Kickstarter program that never quite made it. The great thing is that the designer of the Mantis Claw, when they closed up shop, they decided to publish an open source version of the design of the Mantis Claw because he loved the design, it just never caught on. It was designed to be used with like laser cut plastic or CNC machines, but it did find its way to Thingiverse, which I'm glad because we're going to put that together today. It will make 2 variants, a standard variant and a push button variant that helps you open the claws once they close. Let's look at some of the parts. This is the upper and the lower. You just need 5 of these. You'll need a bottom and a top. Here's the top and here's the bottom. Don't get these confused. The bottom is thinner than the top to make the connections easier. These are the elbows. You'll do 10 of these. These are the clips for the claws. There'll be 5 of these. And each one of the claws, you'll need 10 of these claws. Now the claws you may have to trim a little bit because a bunch of things fit inside the claw. So this opening here and this along here, because it's printed flat, you may get a little bit of a brim. You'll need to deburr the edges to make sure everything fits correctly. So that's them. Now as far as hardware goes, I think for anybody who's metric, it's going to be an M512. For anybody who's standard, I use 1032s. Half inch seems to be just about right. so it doesn't stick out too much. And this is for all the claw arms and the elbows. And then for the middle, I have, let's see if I can get this in. So this is a button head socket cap screw. And it's 3/8 of an inch by 16 threads, and it's 1.5 inches. There we go. And I just got this at Home Depot. There we go. So it's 3/8 of an inch, 16 threads, 1.5 inches long, and then we use a acorn nut like this. And this nut, in a minute, I'm going to drill a hole straight through the nut in order for the string to go through. So let's do that. And now it has a hole for the string to go through in the middle. So this is for the standard. This was designed to have a string running out of the top and going to the bottom of a drone. So when the drone came down and went back up, it had a way of staying connected. I'll also be doing a push button variant. Now the push button variant, everything remains the same except the upper pieces. And in the upper pieces you'll notice that this here is a little bit longer than this because the push button will push against these to open it back up. There's going to be a different top with a slight collar for a push button to fit into like this, so you're pushing it like this to open them back up. So let's go over how to connect the first pieces. Alright, move all of this out of the way. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your two claws and a clip and a lower and an upper arm, and you're going to need a couple screws just to hold them in place before we bolt them on. So we're going to put the clip in first. So the clip goes through this hole right here. You'll see that that hole is specially shaped to be able to take the clip and then rotate around. So you stick it on like this, and then you rotate it around like that. This is the first clip in place. The second clip goes in the same way. There we go. Okay. You want to get the top in, bottom in first, and slide the top. Now once it's in place, this is designed to have the clip rotate downward like this and then fit into these spots right here on the end. Pretty clever. So this provides tension for the claws to keep them in place. But before we'll do that, you're going to want to put these in place. So this one goes like this. It's going to go in here like this. So I'm just going to put the bolt in, pin it in place. Come on. Now I use 10s. 8s will work too, but with the 10s, I get a little bit of tension, so they stay in place a little bit easier than the 8s might. And everything's going to be finger tight. You don't want to over tighten. This claw should move naturally on its own because we're going to rely on that later on. And this one, all right, so you notice that this one had this pointed end on the top. This has this squared off end on the bottom, like this. Okay. Here we go. And And a little screwdriver. You can ream these holes out if you want, but I find that they work pretty well. Okay. This is me trying to put things together. Need some music or something going. There we go. So it's going through, and the reason you have to put this screw in is because the clip will go around it. So if you don't put it in now, the clip will be in the way. There we go. So that moves freely. Then we move the clip back in place, being careful. And I printed the clips out of Esun's PLA Plus. I didn't even know I had a roll of that. Kind of cool that I found that. A little bit more rigid, a little bit more strength. So now we have the upper arm with the point up, the lower arm with the squared off inside here, and the clip in place. And so now it's just a matter of putting the top together. So with the top, you can see I already have one in place. You take the two shoulders, like this, and you place one here, and you place one here. So they should be in place like this. With the upper arm, let's see if this is going to go in. Come on. I just took these off the printer. There we go. The upper arm goes in here like this. There we go. I like my fittings a little bit tighter than looser. They'll loosen up on their own in plenty of time. Right now, I want them a little bit tight. Instead of being really loose and getting looser, which has happened to the robot claw. Okay, and then this one goes down here like this. Get started. Put the lower arm in place. There we go. Well, I had that second way out, don't I? There it goes. Now, once you get all the shoulders in place, you're going to take the top and you're just going to stick it over the top like this. And then your big bolt that we have here is going to go through the bottom, through the top, and then this will go on top of it. Just like that. And these claws will go down over something, make room, and then claw it when it goes back up. So let me go ahead and put the other arms together and we'll see what happens. And here it is. This is the standard version. I do have a piece of string hanging here. And the way it works is as it lowers down, the weight spreads out the tines, and then the tines pick up whatever you need. So let's say there's a benchy. This will go over the benchy. Tines will spread around, and then you can just pick the benchy up. Pretty cool. And let's say you have a whole bunch of benchies. And I have a lot of benchies. Then the claw would come along and single one out, and there it is. We have a nice golden benchy all captured and ready to go. But let's take a look at the push button version. Now remember, with the push button, the upper leg is a little bit different. As you can see that this is a little bit longer than this when it goes into the top. That gives something for the push button to push down on. And instead of using one of these, we're going to be using this combination, which is nothing but a plastic button and a recessed shoulder for the button to stay into. So let's put this in place. Okay. There we go. So now we can still pick it up like this. So plenty heavy. And if we want to open the legs on our own, all we need to do is hold it like this, and we can actually extend them and just manually pick something up without having to use all that force and that's stuck. And waiting for this to go down like this and then back up, we can actually just go ahead and take it. So if you're going to use this with kids, the push button was a better idea, I thought, because now they can just take it and manually just grab something without trying over and over and over again. It's just a little easier for them to use. So, what did we learn today? So with the Mantis, I did learn that you definitely need tools to make a mechanical thing like this. You just can't rely on some glue. So you're going to need hardware. You're definitely going to need screwdrivers, and you'll need an electric drill. When I'm printing all my prints, not all of them are going to come out perfect where the holes are. So you are going to want to take a drill, wring these out just a little bit more to make sure that there's no imperfections, make sure it's perfectly round, make sure there's no rim up on the side where it's sitting flat, and make sure that the screws go in very easily, because you'll need that flexibility when you're trying to pick something like this screwdriver up. Well, that's it for this episode. I hope you all enjoyed it, and please subscribe at the bottom if you would. I look forward to seeing you all next time on Average Joe's 3D.